Hello and welcome to the Odditorium. I'm your herd leader, Adam. And today I'd like to talk about some board game news, specifically around crowdfunding. Obviously there's a lot of information out there, so I just wanted to kind of touch on a couple points that I feel like are important, especially with one campaign ending here in a couple days that's pretty popular, and then just another one that I'm kind of super passionate about that I'd like to answer some questions if I can, just to help people decide on if they think it's what to do or if it's a game for them. So let's jump right into the first thing. And of course, I'm going to jump in onto Robinson Crusoe. So as of right now, you can see the campaign ends in 3 days as of this recording. I'm going to try to crank this out so you have the 48-hour mark that this should be out by the morning. I'm recording kind of late here in the Midwest of the US, so I'm going to also try to do my best at some Euro conversions here for you. I feel the campaign is really pulling on the FOMO aspect. And that's fine. Like, that's kind of what our hobby's turning into. So you got to kind of just really decide for yourself. What I wanted to talk about was this morning they released the all-in pledges. So you have your all-in at 305 euros, or you have your sun dropped up here at 335. So that is basically $400 plus shipping. So you're looking at quite a bit of money if you're on the fence like I was. So when I saw that, I'm like, okay, I need to really crunch some numbers here, because I've kind of been looking around. And if you're on the fence like me, I know there's a lot of returning. Let's actually look. So you have just the everything new pledge. So you have just the base game and the book adventure here, and you got a good amount of people pledging for that. You have some people pledging for the all-in. But what I really want to look at is, so you have 4,200 veteran backers. So if we look at the number of backers we have all the way at the top, we have 12,000. So 1/3 of the people already know that they like this game and they're upgrading. You can see I'm pledging here at the €6, and why I'm pledging at €6 in case anyone's missed it. If you signed up for the email where you get the €5 bonus for this, you have to pledge at $6 if you're doing the $1 pledge to get into the manager to get that $5 or the €5 bonus. So if you do just one, you just have the €1 to add. You're not going to get your bonus if you have one. If you don't have one, just totally forget what I'm saying. Throw in €1 to get into the pledge manager. That's fine. So why I'm pledging at this level is because I've done some number crunching, and here's what I'm planning on doing. On Amazon, you can see Robinson Crusoe 2nd edition has dropped all the way down to $38. I actually ordered it twice because I ordered it earlier this morning, and then already 12 hours later, the Amazon's naturally already shipped it out, and it's already dropped almost $10 more since I ordered it last. So it's definitely something to consider if you're on the fence. And this is how I'm approaching it. And then I just wanted to share it, and you guys can do the same thing if there's enough out there, or if you're lucky enough to see it, as I don't have a huge following or anything like that. But yeah, we'll see. So here's Honey, which kind of is recording the past history, but $37.98 is the lowest it's been in the last 60 days. So it's most likely not going to drop anymore. You have 2 days left on the campaign to get in. But my plan is now I'm supposed to get this in a couple days. Basically, when the campaign is ending, I will be getting my base game. I also I found some of the expansions for cheap while I was ordering another game earlier today, so I threw those on for free shipping. So I'm getting the game, but with this price dropping, you can get all 3 on Amazon for $110. And just doing a price compare, apples to apples, I know this isn't the all-in, but from what I hear, this right here is enough to play a long time. And I mean, we're all crazy because we're all paying like multiple hundreds of dollars or euros to play a game that's going to beat us up, and then like not only just put us in the ground, it's going to tell us to dig the hole first. So what I want to do is like compare those apples to apples. So we have this pledge here, the Endless Adventures pledge, which you can see has the base game with the 2 expansions and then the adventure book. And why that's important, this pledge, is because the stretch goals, which are really daily unlocks, you only get half if you pledge the base game. Where is that? Right here. There we go. The base game. You only get half of those. I'm going to call them daily unlocks. So if you order this pledge, which is what the pledge I was actually honestly looking at, you get both, which adds the extra scenarios. And I honestly like the Book of Adventures is truly the thing that is drawing me in the most over anything else, just for the sheer like dollar value to gameplay ratio that I've been able to see. There's a lot to this, so I don't want to try to drag this out too long. But with how I've approached it, so if you, I've got it calculated out. If you order on Amazon for $110, and then you can pledge at the 6 if you want. But I mean, even if you want to be more aggressive than that and grab this the veteran pledge for $85, which is going to get you the Book of Adventures and the upgrades. So you're going to have the bigger box then that it all fits in, and you're going to get all the minis and all that fun stuff. You are going to come in at, oh, did I close down my calculators? You're going to come in at $236. So $236, you're going to get the game basically in a couple days if you order on Amazon. You get to try it out. And another point I want to make, and I don't know if this is going to be different or not with the other games on Gamefound, but I am an ISS Vanguard backer, and that campaign ended on January 7th, so over 3 months ago. The pledge manager is still not open. So whatever's going on with Gamefound and the super delay, I'm basically considering I have 3 months to play Robinson Crusoe base game and expansions to see if I really like it. And then I can either just be out the €6 or I can pick up anything else I want in add-ons and get this upgrade pack to basically know that I like the game before I'm spending all that money. Because it is a lot of money. I mean, when you add in the shipping and that, the 236 is including shipping, just as a caveat. So now if you buy this Endless Adventure pledge right here, so this is going to be the exact same stuff I just showed you how to piece it together, but you're going to get most of the stuff early, way earlier. I mean, by the time this is done, I'm going to guess you're going to get this game in 1.5 years, with all the minis that they got to produce and everything. So you're looking at 1.5 years where you can get most of your content in 2 days. This pledge with shipping converted to US dollars comes in at about $233. So $3 cheaper. So for $3, is it worth possibly saving $100 and knowing you like a game? Or like, paying that $3 to get it super early and then being able to add on whatever you'd want. Like, for example, I'm super on the fence, and you'll kind of see this in the next game that I talk about. These companion app cards are very appealing to me, but I don't know if I like the game. So like I said, I've been on the fence. I don't own this game. I haven't played it. I've heard great things. I have turned more into a solo gamer with the whole pandemic thing going on. And so this game really has appealed to me, but the difficulty does not necessarily scare me, but it is something to keep in mind. So I don't know if the experience would be enough for me to like the game. So this is how I've kind of really taken the motivation to dig into all this. But if I've now played the game before having to even work on my pledge manager, I know if this is something I want to add on. And truthfully, the downside would be you're going to miss the all-in pledge. But I mean, that's kind of a risk I'm willing to take, that all-in pledge bundle. And I didn't really do the math, honestly, because I don't need another neoprene mat. I don't need the resin tokens. I don't need the horror dice. If this game is hard enough as is, I'm not sure why I need to crank it up to 11 or I guess in this case, possibly even 12. So any of the add-ons I'm going to take, and I'm also a mini painter, so I'm not going to be doing the sun drop here, but any of the add-ons I take probably won't end up being the all-in pledge anyways. So what I'm trying to do here is save you a couple bucks, or at least take the FOMO factor away. And kind of on that note, I just want to say, just order the game on Amazon. Put a €1 or $6, depending on what you want to do. If you want to be really aggressive, order all of the stuff that you can find, because you can find everything right now for this game that is out. And then just get the veteran pledge. You know, and I think that's just a lot smarter. But it's your money. I just wanted to give another opinion, and I haven't really seen this one thrown out there yet. So that's kind of my take on Robinson Crusoe. I have the game on the way. I'm gonna just pledge for the €6, and then decide if I like it or not to actually fill out the pledge manager when it arrives, probably in a couple months. So that is Robinson Crusoe. Next game I want to talk about is Hexplore IT. I am all the way down this page because I was looking through a couple things. Hexplore IT. Big game, awesome game. I'm a huge fan, so as you can see, I am backer number 8. I wanted to do a video kind of explaining my thoughts for any newcomers to Hexplore IT on what I thought was some good entry levels. Obviously, the ultimate way to try and figure out what game is good for you is by just doing the research yourself and watching playthroughs and things like that to really decide, is this a game I would like? You know, that's going to give you more of an idea than me just running through this. But if you're kind of at that, like, hey, I think I am interested, but I don't know if I want to commit to the currently, I believe it's like $400 all-in pledge for all 4 volumes, then hopefully this video will be helpful. And luckily, this campaign, we still have almost a whole month, so you have time to find me. But maybe Chris from Liege of Games will throw a couple views my way, because actually I just watched his video this morning when he released it, and I want to answer some of his questions specifically as I go through the campaign as well, because I feel what he's doing on his channel is fantastic. He's inspired me to get back on the horse for me and start making more videos as well. So I want to answer some of Chris's questions. So Kickstarter bundles are cheaper from what I've seen. So this is kind of the first question he put in his video. Yes, I did price it out when I was looking at the last Kickstarter, and the Kickstarter bundles are basically the best deal you can get for getting this game. And then you're also directly supporting the creator of it as well, I think. So they are a smaller company. So not a lot of places get retail, and usually if they do, it's pretty picked over. So if you are looking at this, the Kickstarters are the best way. I do have kind of an add-on to that down the line a little bit when we're looking at which volumes are maybe good for you. The good news is we're on volume 4 as a little caveat. It is a hex game, so there are going to be hex volumes coming. So you have a couple more opportunities to jump in on this. I don't know what's beyond that, but that's what they've kind of alluded to as of right now. Okay, the next question he had was the character variability. So let's scroll down. So this is where he asked about that. There are, I believe, 2 million different combos at this point. So addressing kind of his questions around that. So Chris asked the character variability, and then do they really differ, or are they similar, and are they balanced? With the different dials you can turn in the game in terms of balance, you can make almost any class feel overpowered if you have acquired a lot of gear. So every like stat is basically considered gear, and then if you don't adjust the difficulty level to get more rewards to kind of accelerate that XP gain, or like character development gain, and you keep it easy, you can make any character feel overpowered. In terms of more powerful classes versus others, some of the Hex-exclusive classes are actually a combo of 2 of the subtypes. So the subtypes we have, so the reds are the strikers, so basically your upfront melee brawlers. Blue are the healers, so obviously you're a support class. You have sappers, who usually focus on energy drain, because there's 2 main stats. You have health and energy. And then you have the utility characters, which are kind of just like a gambit of kind of cool ideas, is how I describe it. And then you have your assist characters, who are really more buffers, in my opinion, where like the sappers are debuffers, kind of, I guess, is a good way to divide that out. So in terms of differences, obviously each class is very different from the other. However, I would say there is some similarity within those classes. So yes, obviously you're going to have some overlap or some that feel the same, but I can also promise, because I haven't played them all, I've played a good amount. A lot of them feel super unique and fun, and you're like, oh my gosh, remember that one time I played X class and we did this crazy strategy, and you play with a buddy or you even play with yourself, and you find some cool combos between the characters even. So there are some good combos there. Next, the stats, how this works. So as you can see, we have kind of red, orange, purple, blue outlines there, and then these are kind of harder to see, but there's like almost a darker color and then a lighter color. As you go down the stats here, so you're going to pick one class, and then you're also going to pick one race. So your race then actually adds to your class abilities. So as you can see here, I think this is like a 2. I'm going to try my best. 2, 3, 1, 1. So the Scourge Eater here has 2 for its basic attack, 3 for its basic defense, and then 1 and 1 for each of its special abilities. So that's kind of also a cool thing that I want to circle back to. This game, I feel, is really easy to teach, even though the complexity is a little higher. Because what you ultimately have are you have a basic attack and a basic defense. Every person's attack and defense acts similar. Then each character has 2 special abilities that pull from special ability stats along with either attack and defense or different combinations, or even sometimes play off of each other depending on the class. Or the class. So everyone has 2 unique abilities. Then you're going to also have your racial abilities. So you have basically 3 unique things to yourself. So overall, you're looking at like 5 options, really basically in a fight. Because you have your stats that add to your class stats, and then you have your racial ability along with your 2 kind of special class abilities. To add on top of that, you have traits that come in the Valley of the Dead King expansion, and then you have aspects that come in the hero chest. And we'll kind of cover that here in a little bit. So next question Chris had were the living card decks. So if we keep on going down here. Ooh, I want to cover these though. He kind of mentioned that question here too. So these are actually the bosses. And then the encounter cards for the monsters you run into are similar. And then like the mega boss at the end that you have to fight is similar as well, with even more special rules. It's really just turning that dial as you play. So how this works though is you roll a 6-sided die, and the bosses have 6 abilities, and then I always say minions, I guess, but the encounter monsters have 3. So on an encounter monster, when you roll a 1 or a 2, you take the top stat, 3 or 4 middle, 5, 6 bottom. Where on the boss, you have up to 6 different abilities that you have to take. The interesting thing though is I have mentioned like health and then energy, and then some classes focus on energy drain. There are some really cool mechanics where these skills also use per se energy or mana, just like you use as a character. So you can actually focus that as a team or as a specific person and drain that energy. So for example, if you run into an encounter card that doesn't have a lot of energy, and you have someone that can drain energy fast and you take out that energy, that encounter monster can no longer use one of their abilities and will default to their basic attack, is what ends up happening. So that's kind of how those work. Back to the living card decks, I believe was the next question. I also am just digging the art for this theme, so I'm super excited about it. So you have the living card decks. So how those work are when the game officially releases, that whatever month that is, each month will have a new specific type encounters for different encounters and different things like that. So how that works then is the living card deck just has everything they plan on launching for that whole continuous year. You can just get right away. But when you pull out that encounter, there's a QR code on it, and you can scan it with your phone, and that takes you to their website. And then you can just click on the month you're in with the release, and then it shows you that special encounter for that month. How I play it is I've ordered all the living card packs, so this is kind of jumping back to the Robinson Crusoe thing with the companion app. I've bought the living card decks for this game. I just keep them in a separate deck, and then I rotate them as I play. So that way every play is different, and it's not the same month type situation. And then that gets me through them faster because I've been playing more, but then also just really mixes it up. So I kind of like that method. And honestly, once they all release, they're all out there just on the internet for you to look at. So you can play whichever month you want to, honestly. But you just have to wait if you don't buy the living card decks for a year for them to fully release. The hero chest. So you can see the hero chest here. And I'm going to actually show you a little thing. So let's go down to here, the hero chest. Okay. So yes, the hero box is a little deceiving because you can see these trays, you can see these are sitting in there vertical, and then that almost makes you think of like a filing system. So you're going to open up the box, and I have mine right in front of me here. So you'd open up the box, and then you'd have your filing system go through to pick what you want. That's not exactly how it works. So let me just show you here quick. Another add-on that's not in the campaign are these Expo Ultra Fine markers. I'll put a link to them in Amazon, which I order because they're cheap. And you're going to want them because the dry erase that comes in the game are super fat. So when you're trying to write down different things, Chris, to answer your question, with the bookkeeping, you're going to want a lot better marker for that. So I'm going to take these out here. But as you can see, I'm going to show this like this. They have to lay down. Because when you set them up, and I'm going to have to grab my whole stack here, you can see that they actually sit above. Oh, I'm hitting my mic now too. They sit above the box. So now that those are good and stuck, I'll get these out of the way. But so I do love the hero chest. It's fantastic and holds a lot of extra supplies. But don't think that you're going to actually get them to file like this. Okay, so the next thing I want to jump to is his questions about kind of complexity and this, what volume is right for me. So you're going to have three different categories here. You have focus versus sandbox, you have complexity, and then villain management. The focus versus sandbox and villain management, I feel, are very hand-holding in terms of this game. But one thing you will notice is Sands of Shirax is always at the top. And what I like about this Volume 4 is that I feel like they're trying to bring it down a level. And I think that's super cool, actually. So I think that's really good for beginners. And then so this is a good time to jump in without having to get the all-in. You can get two really good volumes that will really show you kind of the ropes of Hexplore IT. And that would be Valley of the Dead King and then the Volume 4. So Volume 1 and 4 are what we're looking at. So why I say that is, Volume 1, the Valley of the Dead King, is going to give you your really basic nuts and bolts. So that's really going to just break it down for you and teach you. You're going to have in the base game, you'll have your racial stats plus your heroes, and you'll get a lot of heroes in the base game. Let's go up to here. Yep. So this bundle, I would recommend this bundle here with just the basic add-on bundle of the Volume 4 if you're jumping in now for new people that aren't sure. Because Valley of the Dead King really, really does teach you the basics of the game. And I know some people a little bit more critical than I am of Hexplore IT say this one gets really dry really fast. But that's just because it's super straightforward in my opinion. You are fighting the Dead King. He's going to eventually spawn, and then he runs around, destroys towns, and then once he's done destroying the towns, he comes after you. You have ways to basically heal those towns, and then he has to go destroy that town again, and eventually you run out of ways to delay him, and then either you go to fight him or he comes to fight you, one of the two. So once if you think you're ready before he destroys all the towns, you can go fight him early. Otherwise, once he's done destroying all the towns, he's going to come get you. Very basic in terms of how the boss mechanics work. compared to some of the later volumes. So that's really great. The expansion, and why I say get this bundle, is once you've played it once, the expansion will add some Hex-exclusive classes as well. So you can also grab a Hex-exclusive class to be a little bit more stronger in your first playthrough if you want, as you're kind of learning kind of some of your limits as a character. And then it also gives you the traits. So the traits are basically what I'd say is expansion 1 to your character creation. And those are going to be little squares that give you basically like 6 levels of a trait. And that trait is something you can trigger and get stronger throughout the game. And every time you like meet a certain condition, you gain a notch in leveling that. And then once you do that so many times, you get 1 level, and then you do that 6 times and it's maxed out. So that gives you kind of like expansion 1 to character creation. And then the hero chest here gives you your aspects, and this is kind of like expansion 2. So what you can do with these 3 things then are, well, I would say, so you have your, not 3, it'd be the 4. So what you're going to end up having though is you'll have your character race, your character class, your trait, and then your aspect. And the interesting with aspects is they give you another ability, but they also modify things not just positively, but also negatively. And so do traits in some situations as well. So it's definitely a way to really enhance that character differences from game to game. So that is how I want, I guess that's what I'd recommend is if you're getting into it and you haven't played it yet, get the Valley of the Dead King add-on with the basic pledge, or even the bundle pledge for volume 4. And then if you want to add in the hero chest, great. If you want to go all out, I know it's a lot, but the $400 is a great value. You get a lot of game that you won't be able to play through anytime soon. But I know there's more campaigns coming for this, so I don't want to push people to too much. Because if you can't afford it, and you're like, I can only afford 2 volumes, well, Volume 1 and Volume 4 right now are what's looking like the best thing for jumping into this game. Then if you really like it, you can then, on the next, let's see, there's got to be there we go, right here, this is what I'm looking for. So we're on number 4 right now, so obviously there's 2 more campaigns coming they've alluded to. So, and the cool thing is you can actually get an early ship on these. I don't know if they have bundles with that, but you can at least get an early ship on the basic game if you want. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Another thing I want to talk about is in this gameplay. One thing that's super underrated for this game is the player aids. The player aids are fantastic. So this is like your basic turn player aid phase. So it's going to walk you through. Here's your movement phase. Here's your skill phase. Here's your circumstance, event, villain. Boom, restart. And every game has these and walks you through them according to that game, because every game has different villain mechanics and things like that. So they're super awesome, but not only that, they also have them for your city encounters, your bosses, your shops, your shrines, all of the stuff you can run into that can take a major, basically, thing where it's an event or a circumstance. They have a player aid like this, and they're on really nice, thick cardboard. And so they're just fantastic. So you almost have like this little library of sheets that I honestly use them to learn the game. So when I learned the game, I watched a playthrough. I skimmed the rulebook at a very high level, and then I used the player aids to get me through. And then when I got stuck, I just looked it up in the rulebook and was able to actually get through a game of Hexplore it that way. So I was able to jump in a lot faster because the player aids are that good. That's what I wanted to say about Hexplore it. Like I said, I'm a huge fan. Backer 8 here. I think it's a great game. I would love for people to go all in, but I know that's not feasible. So if you're looking at jumping in, I'd say get the base pledge or the bundle pack. If you have the cash, the 99 or whatever it is, plus the Valley of the Dead King bundle pack, and that's going to be a really good start for Hexplore it for you if you're unsure. Otherwise, grab the all-in bundle. That's a fantastic bundle. You get all the fun goodies, along with the hero box that you can store everything in. So how I have my game stored is I have the core mechanics of all the base games and all the core boxes. I have all my heroes in my hero chest. And then I have my, another thing that we didn't even touch on is there's variants of the game. So you can actually have multiple bosses in one game that are fighting each other, vying for control. And then one wins, then that's the one you have to fight. And all these crazy things where you're combining multiple games. And so I put all those extra components in the expansion boxes, and then they sit on my shelf that look like books as well. So they're super cool and thematic. And then it's super easy. Like, no matter what, I grab my hero chest, and then for new players, I'm like, here, pick out a hero. And then your friends get all googly-eyed, and they're looking through their hero box and picking out their heroes as you're like, okay, we're going to grab Valley of the Dead King, there's new players, and then I'm setting that up without interfering at all with them looking through stuff. So it also makes for a nice, easy setup. And then in the hero box, they give you extra trays to help organize stuff because they realize that there's then basically air in the boxes. So they allow for then organizing as well. But yeah, so that's kind of your questions that I wanted to address, Chris. I've been watching you lately. You've kind of been a little bit of an inspiration for me to get back on the horse and start making videos again as well. So I just want to thank you for that. You have way more of a following than me, so I'll probably have to tag you in your comments or something like that to my video. But that is my dog who is sleeping right underneath me, if you can hear him dreaming. Moving on from that, just want to say thank you, Chris. So hopefully that helps you answer some of your questions, as I know you said you're going to be watching playthroughs this weekend. Just buy the game. That's really what I think you should have. You should at least get Valley of the Dead King for sure, and then maybe this new one, because I think we're both on the same page with how awesome this is. And then, yeah, go from there. So if you like what I am doing here or want to join the herd, please like and subscribe. Always feel free to ask me any questions in the comments below. And if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Keep on gaming, and don't forget to graze.